I'm standing with the expert for health fairs. Michael, you've been helping our doctors in the Corporate Scale to Key program get in to do big corporate health fairs, which has been your expertise for close to 15 years. We've had some frequently asked questions, and rather than me tell these doctors and yell and scream into the camera, I kind of wanted them to hear it from you.
Sure.
When it comes to setting up these health fairs, how is it that you make money basically from doing these events?
Well, the large events, there's a lot of scenarios that kind of play out as you put the event together, but for the most part what happens is that we charge the exhibitors or / vendors to participate in the event. Now you can kind of do the numbers, and there's different price points for different exhibitors as well, but you know, we'll have sometimes 40, 50, 60 exhibitors in an event, so that's how we make our money. We've always tried to have a forte of not charging the company, so the event's free for the company, which makes it a lot easier to get into the company. They're much more apt to say yes, they'd like to try it, and do a health fair if you're not charging them.
Right on. So part of your job, once you're in the Corporate Scale to Key program, is to warm it up, get the lead information, find out who it is that we need to talk to. But a key point is just what you brought up, which is, what's the charge to the company, and what's your answer to that?
And again, the company pays nothing, it's free, the event is free, which it really helps you, you know, again, get back in and open up the door to get into the company to do their event. So.
Right. Now, at that point, they might be a little bit skeptical at the corporation side, where they go, wait, you're going to put on this huge event, music, balloons, sometimes food is served, it's fun,
sure,
there's prizes, and it's at no charge to us. How does that work? And at that point, wouldn't that be good for the doctor's office to turn that over to you? And that's what you've been doing for us.
Absolutely. That's where it gets a little tricky. And again, having done this for a long time, we work through different scenarios. But one of them is we basically say, you know, we're sponsored by the medical and business community is what we say. And professional and business community, I think, is a better term. So that way, we try to keep it a little bit vague. We don't really want them to know our business model per se, but they love the fact that it's free. So, you know, it makes it really a lot simpler.
Now, with some of the bigger companies you've worked with, has that scenario been paying out for you? I mean, do reputable companies trust you?
Yeah, well, we work with companies such as Disney, Boeing, Broadcom, you know, some of the major players, and we have for many, many years. Surprisingly, and this is something that, you know, I discovered as we, you know, started this business many, many moons ago, but the big companies still have to go ask somebody for money. So if you can tell them it's free, it's amazing how you get through the red tape of trying to put on this event. And again, we make our money through the exhibitor / vendor groups, and so it seems to be a really good model for us and has worked quite well.
Now, are the doctors in the Corporate Scale to Key program going to be charged in addition to what they pay to be in the program? If they turn up a company, they get it warmed up, and you close it, is there another fee for them to be involved?
Absolutely not. In fact, you know, not only is there not a fee for them to participate, we're going to give them exclusivity at the events, and you know, that is really key to getting a lot of patients at these events. So you're not splitting it up with a bunch of other groups.
Right. So one of the key marketing tips we've given in the past is that we basically, people ask us, how do you get, you know, close to 20 new patients every time? And we've even had some doctors disbelieve us. But the key is right there, is that we're the only chiropractor. You see, if you work with other health fair companies or you don't do it yourself, then you're one of four. So it divides the potential, it downplays the authority, and none of that works to your advantage.
And another fact, not only does it give you all the traffic, you know, which, you know, the way these events are set up, we always give you one of the prime locations too. So you kind of put you in the best spot, so you're going to give everybody's coming by you. Chiropractic team always seems to be one of our, if not our most popular exhibitor at the event.
He takes care of us.
And so we try to make sure, well, you guys, you know, we're all family, we're in this together. So we want to make sure you're taken care of first. You'll always have priority at all of our events. The other factor that you have to consider is that you are connecting with this company, and being the only chiropractor, they're looking at you when they come out to, you know, the employees come to the event, they're thinking, oh, he must have some type of a relationship with us, the company itself. And so that really works well for the chiropractor as well when you're the only one there.
And the term we hear a lot is, we are the company chiropractor. It's an unofficial title. It's not something the company can ever stamp on you, but I definitely let them think that.
Well, today I had an interesting with a dentist, and she basically, there's Blizzard Entertainment, which everybody knows who they are. They're here in Irvine, and we're going to be doing an event, it looks like, with them, and she wanted the exclusivity as the dental group. And I said, well, since you set it up, of course you'll have the exclusivity. She goes, I feel like I'm almost already, you know, because I'm connecting with these, but I'll be their company dentist. So that's a great application of what we're trying to do with the chiropractors who get involved and set up the events.
And that's just it too, I think, is then we're building, and this is what we tell them when they join the corporate skeleton key and become a wellness champion, is basically we're building this for the next 2, 3, 4 decades.
Yeah.
This isn't like this year, how to get a bunch of new patients.
Yeah.
You're talking about the same thing we are, which is the relationship for years to come, and that's how the benefits of this program far outpace the initial investment, and that's been huge. But let's pick up this scenario again where basically at this point the company hears there's no charge. Now, you've worked with Disney, Broadcom. I mean, the tech industry is still booming. They have great benefits. Sure. Those people make a wad of cash. Google, places like that, those are going crazy still.
Yeah.
Now that this almost sounds too good to be true, one of the key aspects of this program I really want you to get is that Michael will pick up the phone and close this for you. Can you explain how your reputation would be different than like a solo practitioner pretending like we could do this?
The key in is number one is just that we've been doing it so long. We're going to know what the questions are going to be prior to them asking. Number two is just the list of companies and the validity that you have for being in business and doing this for such a long time. Those are the things that make it easy on my end. And more importantly, if you try to go in and try to do this, it's going to probably get a little bit messed up, so to speak, because you don't really know how to do this yet because you haven't ever done it. Right. It's a lot more work intensive and than people realize. So it's much easier for me not to have to go back in and try to fix things that were said incorrectly. If you can just get the information, I'll make the contact and we'll take it from there. Right. So it makes it a lot easier on our side too.
Totally. So a good point of clarity there too is that these are big companies we're talking about, 1,000 or more. We made a constellation with Michael, or had him make a constellation where if it was a company of 500 or more, and you're a corporate skeleton key doc, and it's somebody like Nike, it's somebody with a major name, then he would obviously be willing to go for a smaller company out of California. He'll go anywhere really. But if it's a major name like that, that has an impact. But the general rule is 1,000 or more. There's no extra charge if you're in the program. The fact is you'll have the biggest booth, the best location. He'll close a deal for you.
Absolutely.
You'll have the most foot traffic. You'll have exclusivity. All these things build up, and all it takes is one event to make this really, really a dynamic. Now let's talk about something that would be an additional to that. Once they're there, what do you do for these docs?
At the event?
Yeah, as far as making an intro and doing lunch and learn talks.
Well, what we always try to do with the chiropractic doctors, because I'm an advocate, and so what we'll do is make sure that you're introduced to whoever the proper person is, whether it be the HR director or benefit director. With Boeing, we work with their safety group, so there's a lot of opportunity to go back in and do your lunch and learn type talks, which is obviously a home run for whoever gets to do that. And most of these companies are pretty receptive if it's handled properly. We don't do this for anybody else except for the hospitals. If they're looking for something a little bit more medical, we'll work with those groups. But everybody wants to come in and do something, but we just don't do that because we've learned that the only ones that it makes sense are the people that are good at putting on a lunch and learn, and so people that have training.
We appreciate that trust because that's a huge part of this. But again, it goes back to that idea. It's a home game. They assume, oh, you must already have a relationship with our company. You're a safe doctor, or you wouldn't be in these four walls. It kind of gives that feel. So he knows that we're tapping into some really big things here on the subconscious level, which is basically, it's this permission that we're allowed in, and that really starts with Michael. So we've had a lot of questions on this, and I didn't want to answer those directly. I thought it was more important you did that. But that reputation of the happiest place on earth and Broadcom and that stuff, he's got the answers figured out before they even come. You turn on the situation, he'll close it. You go and kill it. And
and you don't have to necessarily have a relationship. If you have the right name for us to go ahead and make the contact, I'm more than happy to try to start the process and take it from that side. So you don't have to necessarily know the person. Maybe you have a friend who knows who it is that we should be contacting if it's the right company. It's always worth a try to go in and try to, even if it's not a solid lead, so to speak, where you have a relationship with this person. As long as you have the right person for us to contact, it's worthwhile to take a run at them and see if we can put together an event.